So, the vetting committee came back from their adjournment, and they had a few more questions for me before they make their decision on the fallen unit, whether or not they can continue in the skies. They weren't very happy with David Howard. So they said, David Howard, he's a serial killer and a lot more, and you have him working with the police on the ground in the Earth unit. How do you explain yourself? Of what value does he bring? Well, in David's defence, David was abused at boarding school from the age of 7 for 10 years by his priest and his headmaster. And I think the priest represents you boys in the skies. I'm not going to go there. So David, after 10 years of abuse by this priest and headmaster, put together a list of those that had abused him, and he called it his penance list, and he became a serial killer because he sort of killed off the people, except one, on that list, the people he blamed for his pain as a child. So in a way, I think that list of names needed cleaning up anyway. I think he did us a little favour, cut out a lot of work, and considering the abuse was done by one of your chaps, I think that was a little bit, below the belt. It's the least we could do is to give him a second chance. Karen still wasn't happy. She was one of the people on the board. Very rude woman. And what she's called Karen. Anyway, so Karen said, oh, but he's also a playboy. How can you have a playboy? Well, it's very useful, Karen. Some of the work we're dealing with is sex trafficking and the nastier side of the dark web. And we're helping protect lives in that direction. And Karen, if you want to put somebody undercover in a sex club or some sort of snuff porno movie, you can't put a person that looks like a police officer in there. You've got to put somebody that looks like a playboy, like David Howard. Oh, said Karen. Why didn't he call the police? Why didn't he? He was 7, Karen. He was 7. His mum had just died. He was vulnerable. They choose their victims very carefully. And they kept him quiet through shame and fear. Anyway, so let's give David a second chance. Karen and I didn't get on. And then there was another chap called Quentin, I think his name was, and he didn't get it either. Anyway, this is exactly why we have to employ people who do get it, who've been there and done it, because if you want to catch these guys, you've got to have worked amongst them and know how they behave and know what they do and know how to catch them at it. It's probably why the world is in the mess it's in. People don't understand. The people on the top don't understand what's going on at the bottom. The thing is with the people in command, sometimes they're out of touch with what is happening on the ground and they make the wrong decisions. But if you want to catch dodgy people, you've got to put dodgy people in their way to track them down. And I can't defend the unit any higher. David Howard's got to stay, and it's a ball breaker if he doesn't. It will be over. He goes, they all go. They're a very loyal bunch. Then Karen perked up again, and she said, but they play football on rooftops. Wow, Karen. Karen, do you know that the 2 most important things on the planet that unite people are sport and music? Why not let them play football on rooftops? They need time out. No one can see them, no one knows what they're doing, and they happen to have an ex-footballer among them at the moment, and he's pretty good and he's teaching them some serious moves. But why not, Karen? What is your problem? You've got to have some fun, and obviously you didn't have fun in your life, but you do have to have fun in your job to be able to keep up with it. Sometimes it could be a little too stressful, and it's a stress reliever to do sport or, go to the pub and get drunk or something, whatever. I know it's not your kind of thing, Karen. I think it was quite clear that Karen and I weren't getting on. The meeting didn't go terribly well. She was huffing and puffing. She didn't like the idea of the fallen unit at all. Quentin was being led by her. I did not swear. I managed. I did say, Karen, can I just remind you that this crowd of people are volunteers? They did a deal on their deathbed to go up there and sort stuff out that you've let happen. That stuff that's slipping through your fingers and law enforcement's fingers. You do know that they are getting you out of a mess. That they are sorting out your crap. There was a big silence. And then Karen and whatever his name is, Quentin, had a little whisper. And they said, well, we're going to discuss things further and then we'll get back to you. Could you please have some balls and make a decision? Do you not have teeth? Could you just make a decision? And then something tapped me on the shoulder to say, Siobhan, shut the F up. You're making it worse. So I did shut the F up. And they're going to come back to me, reconvene, come back to me for a second time with a decision on whether the fallen unit should remain. I think it's rather clear from talking to them that the fallen unit needs to remain because the fallen unit is the only thing that's making any sense. They're out of touch. They need to redo their rules, but they haven't got the intelligence to do it, so I think it's going to be a bit of a battle. Anyway, meanwhile, we'll carry on and we'll keep saving the world. What would we do without Karen's, eh?